Ladies and gentlemen, on this Red Gaming Cetacom video, we have some news that PlayStation 4 and Xbox One may well have 4K hardware revisions coming later this year. Now, that might sound a bit odd, but believe it or not, the rumour actually has a fairly decent backer, and that would be Forbes, who are reporting that Netflix believe the hardware revisions are coming. So this comes to us from a CES press conference, which was actually reported by the Huffington Post. Now, there's a chap over at Netflix. He would be the Chief Product Officer, and his name is John Hunt. And he said that Sony, as I quote, has promised to bring 4K capable PS4 hardware revisions to the market. Now, of course, Netflix have probably been maybe said a little bit too much, and a new representative has said, well, they actually can't really speak for what Sony's plans are. However, once again, according to the grapevine, the Chinese whispers, Forbes have said that a representative has said that Hunt believes that the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One consoles do have their traditional 2-year hardware refresh. In other words, for those keeping track, that's going to be about October, November-ish time, and they will add the necessary components to deliver 4K video playback, end quote. So what does that actually mean for you and I? Well, this is likely obviously going to be a hardware revision, and there are a couple of points. One, this does not mean that the Xbox One or the PlayStation 4's GPU is suddenly going to become significantly more powerful, and thus, you know, games are going to be running at 4K at 60 frames per second. Instead, this is focused only on video, so it's probably going to be some type of decoder, logically. The second point is it also means that it's going to be an optional shiny for the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One. Now, logically, it could be that this is going to be the slim Xbox One that we've been hearing about for some time. You might have recalled that we have gone into some detail. Microsoft have indeed been hiring people to say, hey, we are kind of slimming down the Xbox One process. We know that AMD, there was a LinkedIn profile that said that they were working with Microsoft to tape out a 20nm APU. In other words, the main processor inside the Xbox One. We know that Sony are probably doing the same thing, blah de blah de blah. So we kind of knew that the hardware revisions were coming, and obviously most of the time when a hardware revision happens, it shrinks down the size of the console. Sometimes you may get a HDMI port which changes. You know, they might add a HDMI port. In the case of the original Xbox 360, you know, the later models had the HDMI added, whereas the original didn't. And sometimes you'll get ports removed, sometimes you get additional USB or larger hard drive, what have you. But in this case, one of the optional extras, of course, would be that 4K support, which some services such as Netflix are starting to push. Now, obviously the thing with this is that it does mean that original adopters are going to be SOL, but it's probably going to be another reason for them to really, well, kind of differentiate the systems from their original predecessors. I'm kind of curious because if it turns out to be true, it's definitely going to be quite nice, especially for the Xbox One, which of course has been marketing itself for a media-based console for some time now. I don't necessarily know if it's going to be a major selling point, but then again, 4K TV adoption rate is getting a bit better. And funnily enough, I was reading some stats a while back. I don't remember the actual numbers, but you can Google this yourself in your own time. And they were saying that the Blu-ray is doing okay. I'm talking about for the film type of format, not for games. Blu-ray's doing okay, but its adoption rate isn't quite what a lot of studios and tech industries had, well, predicted. And the reason behind that is because of digital streaming. In other words, because of Netflix and Amazon and Now TV or Hulu or whatever is available in your service, and so in your region. And now, of course, we've got this situation where you've got a lot of people who are buying movies on DVD, but they don't really want to spend the extra on Blu-ray. And because now, of course, our society is becoming so much more instant gratification, streaming's really starting to take off. So in which case, 4K is the natural kind of evolution of this. And Well, I guess we're just going to have to see. At the end of the day, this is only a rumour, and once again, to reiterate, this is not, at least from what we understand from right now, this is not going to affect anything to do with the GPU. This is not a CPU upclock or anything like that. The most likely scenario is it's going to be a little bit extra improvement to the video decoder, that type of thing, to enable 4K playback. Anyway, hopefully you've enjoyed the video. It's been a relatively short one, which is unusual for me, but it is almost 1 AM in the UK time. So, anyway, take care and bye for now.